Hey everybody, it's Cherie, Cherie. I was going to make a video that I thought was something I just came across, and when I see something that really turns me and makes me go gross, or when they call it triggers, it definitely is a memory trigger. So I wanted to talk about Chick-fil-A, and I actually didn't know this part about Chick-fil-A, but I know a lot about Chick-fil-A. And I thought, well, since I know about it and I've had my own personal experience with them, why not talk about what they actually truly do that some people don't know? Or if you're naive or gullible or stupid or not, I'm saying that as me, like if that's what I was. I used to work for Chick-fil-A. And something occurred in my life that was pretty traumatic, but at the time I didn't have a lot of information to work with. I had just got out on my own in Texas, and so I was really naive. I was so naive. I'm gonna get into graphic details about my first sexual experience, and the reason I want to do that is just it's not to be gross or talking about private things like that to exploit it. I just want people to understand my mind frame, where I was when I was at the age of 17. So I lost my virginity about 3 days prior to my 18th birthday. That was when it was willingly, if you get what I'm saying, if you know my past history. So the person that I lost my virginity to was somebody I really loved and cared about, and he loved and cared about me. His name was Mario Nunez. And so, long story short is we lived together. We were roommates prior to this situation. He was really respectful of my age, and it was not him sleeping with somebody, to me, that was a minor of an idiot. He was very self-conscious of not doing anything wrong. So I was the one actually hey, it's the first time I really wanted to have sex on my own. So I broke him down, trust me, because he was older than me. He was 25, 27. So he was an amazing human being. I want to say that first and foremost. His family was really wonderful, and they all were just so sensitive and very educated and knowing more about me not knowing things than I think, at the time. They just really went out of their way to be very protective of me. And I know some people may say, well, it was 72 hours prior to turning 18, but also 17 is legal in Texas at that time. I'm not sure, I haven't looked into the updated laws, but I do know at 17 you can live on your own and blah, blah, blah. So we were roommates, and I was, we had another roommate too. So everything was really nice. Everybody was so respectful. I didn't have to worry about getting raped. They didn't sexually harass me. They didn't do any of that. They were just the most polite. It was a good situation. It wasn't a bad situation. So first of all, I want to make sure that's loud and clear. The only reason I brought up the 3-day early notice to turning 18 was, well, that's the truth. And two, my ability to even knowing what sex was had only become educatingly on, me being educated on it was because I was reading about it. The most pornographic thing I had seen at this moment was the movie that Demi Moore is. She strips in the movie. And honestly, at that time, the part where she strips in the movie, I was like, oh gosh, she's so hot. Oh Lord. And that probably should have been included in me then, but I was just gullible and didn't know anything. And they always had all these Playboy magazines laying around and books, so I would just pick them up and read them. I didn't watch porn. I didn't know what porn was. So, and they knew that. They knew I was very innocent. So I would just read and read and read and read. So I'm like, okay, this has got to be a great experience. So fast forward, right, you know what I mean? A couple days before 18, we had sex. And I didn't know that you could get pregnant by having sex. I kind of knew, but I didn't know how. I didn't know that, this is really terrible, y'all. I didn't know that cum would get you pregnant. I didn't know what cum was, is in the sense, DNA-wise, what it does. It makes a baby, you can get disease, none of that. I didn't know what condoms were. So when I'm reading about all this, Playboy stuff, at that time it wasn't like raunchy graphic, but I did come across a little book one time that was like, these people wrote in and was telling Playboy or Hustler, one of them, about their sexual experiences. And I remember going, oh my God, I didn't know you could do that. Like, I remember that specifically. So there were no pictures, it was just reading. So I read the whole book. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to figure this out. So we end up having sex, and we've been dating, I don't know, 6-9 months already, give or take. So like, he had already taken me to meet his family in Houston. So yeah, it was moving forward. The one thing that I noticed is that he was really smart and mature in the sense of knowing, like, I just didn't know anything. And he picked up on that. And he didn't use it. He didn't abuse it. He didn't manipulate it. It was just unbelievable how much he was such a kind soul to me, and did not, things might have gone wrong, but he didn't ever take advantage of the person that I was. So, but he didn't also know how, like, uneducated I was about anything. Like, I really was just like sitting there going, I know what I'm going, I've read this now, I'm, because everything before has been so dramatically nothing but abuse. I just did not know that you could have sex that was not forced upon you. So here I am. And I remember, this is how awesome people were. I worked at a restaurant called Golden Corral in Tyler, and everybody there was so educated also on what happened to me, because, well, of course, the FBI came to my restaurant when I worked, sat in my section, had me serve them. I guess they were profiling me. Went and spoke to my manager, who was like a role model of a dad to me, and told them that they needed to take me to the FBI department. So, just giving you a background, you can see. So, me, Mario, all of our friends, everybody we knew all worked at Golden Corral. And so they all knew just from what my family had done. Like, I had hair down to my butt. I looked so plain Amish. And so I just didn't know anything. They literally taught me how to dress. They did everything, and it was always so freaking pure, y'all. I can't thank those people enough back in that era for being such a support system of teaching me things that I just look back and go, wow. So fast forward, they'd also had told me at the restaurant, hey, because we all hung out, listen, don't be having sex with anybody, because everybody wants to sleep with you because you're so pretty, and you're technically a virgin, because, rape does not make you not a virgin. And so just don't be sleeping with anybody. Make sure they really care about you. And I'm like, okay, I'm good for that. So now that I'm living with somebody and dating them, and we're getting along so good, and he taught me how to drive, he did all this stuff. So I never was ever crossing any lines, ever. It was such a nice, respectful time in my life. But when it became disrespectful, I started a second job at a place called fil-A. It was closer to our apartment, and me and Mario now pass by. He knew I was so naive and gullible. He ends up telling me, like, I just don't think it's fair to you for me to marry you, because he was wanting to marry me. And he's like, I just feel like it's very unfair to put you in the position of wanting to not only be a wife now and have kids and do the things that I'm wanting to do when you've never gotten to live anything. And at the time, I was devastated, because I was just like, that doesn't matter. I don't mind being that person. And he's like, I know, but I feel that you deserve better, that you should get educated and get to live your life. And then from there, life can go on. So we decided to continue to live together. And we had our other roommate. He was there too. So I'm working at Chick-fil-A. And what I didn't know was, at the time, Mario was cheating on me with another woman. And like, basically within, I guess, like the week, it was really at the end. It wasn't anything like, I was never mad or upset in the sense of holding a grudge. I remember knowing that this person was somewhere along the line involved in life. So We even had a dog together. I forgot to mention that. We had a dog, and actually our dog got parvo, and we spent so much money. We are waitresses, right, and servers, and they're like, your dog's not going to live. And I remember Mario was like, we're going to the vet, took it to the vet. We were going to the vet like almost every day, getting the dog blown up so much with shots to hydrate it. It was literally leaking out of our dog's body. But guess what? It survived. So that was a blessing. But fast forward. So, time's gone by. Now we're going to split up. We're going to move on with our lives and go in different directions. We'll come to find out, and we're all so tight-knit at the restaurant at Golden Corral that everybody is kind of a little bit in shock, and some of them were not very approving of the way he exited our relationship. But he was right. He was saying right. He knew it was good. I mean, yeah, it probably would have been a better life if he had just stuck it out with me. I probably would have had a better life. But for me, he knew that I needed more time to grow. So we mutually agree we're going to split up. He moves on immediately with somebody, and they end up being engaged, getting married within, if I remember, it was like a month or two. It was fast. Because during this period, I start dating somebody else. And I remember, here I am, still not educated on how long it takes you to get knocked up or anything. I don't know anything. It is so freaking crazy how uneducated I was. It was sad. It was really sad. And I would never really let people know to the extent of how much I didn't know, if that makes sense. I was really a pro at trying to not let people see that I didn't know a lot of stuff. So I start dating somebody else, and the next thing we know, oops, I'm pregnant. And I went to my friend Dana. Her name was Dana Humphreys. She was amazing. Oh, supernatural human. Love her, miss her. I don't know where she went in life, but I think she moved to Dallas and married a jazz player. I think that's what happened. But long story short, she was just bad, bougie, oh, God bless America. Amazing Christian. Hello. Okay, I lived with her too. We were mated, so I got to see the side of her life that she was a true Christian. So then, hold on, pause 1 second, hold on.